Yeah, and of course, the complexity in the energy area of just the public's understanding of the electric grid and sources of energy is just vastly different than what we live in. And we have this amazing system where the piece of copper plugged into the light bulb in my living room is connected via copper all the way to the studio that you're located in. And in fact, it's plugged into every single light bulb east of the Rocky Mountains. It's this amazing system. In order for that system to work, you need to have reliable energy you can count on. And while we certainly have made advances in the area of wind and solar, until we have the ability to turn on the sun and turn on the wind like we can with coal, with natural gas, and with nuclear, it's still going to provide us issues with reliability. And that's why it's so disappointing to see so many policymakers in Minnesota be pushing this agenda that really is denying the limitations of, it denies the fact of the limitations of wind and solar energy. It doesn't mean that wind and solar should be part of our energy mix. It's part of an all-of-the-above energy portfolio. But the attacks on lignite, the attacks on coal, particularly at a time when emissions are going down, and we've seen these scrubbers that have been installed at a lot of plants, reducing mercury emissions, SOx and NOx, and virtually nothing. It's just incredibly foolish. And the end result is we outsource those jobs to more polluting environments. We end up with higher costs, and so the environment loses, the economy loses, and worst of all, the American worker loses. Just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. Give me a report card on the 2020 legislative session so far. You making any progress on these fronts?
Well, obviously, with the COVID-19 outbreak, that kind of brought everything to a screeching halt, which in some respects, I know this, please don't take this the wrong way, but it was kind of helpful at stopping the bad agenda of things moving forward.
No, it makes perfect sense. You got to stop the bad stuff.
Right. And so we're still, in Minnesota, we still have shared government. So we have a Republican Senate and a Democrat House. So it still requires consensus for anything to happen. And so in terms of that perspective, I guess I wasn't too excited or too disappointed with the legislative session. But what I do worry about is at some point in the future, if you have one party total control with, the Walls Fry agenda having no brakes in the cab, and the Democrats in total charge or control of the state of Minnesota, we're going to be living in a radically different state in about a year. And that's what concerns me, is what's going to happen in the November elections. Or what are the consequences of having the DFL, the Democrats, have total control of the state of Minnesota? And it's not good.